this. I know! Oh, it's working. It is working, you're just not using it properly.
Projection.
So, let me start with Jenna. I thought that Clara's send-off was one of the strongest a companion has gotten. Do you think about what she is doing now that she is off on her own adventures?
Yes, I think that she is probably broken down, and her and Ishilda haven't yet worked out the mechanics of the TARDIS and are trying to get somewhere but can't quite work it yet. It's a complicated manual.
And let me ask Peter, Clara's putting faces.
I'm not putting faces. I'm enjoying your stories.
Okay.
Again.
So Clara was so important to your Doctor's arc. And now that he has lost her, how is that going to affect him going forward?
Oh, it's just going to be so difficult. It's so hard to get up in the morning in that TARDIS and try and get out there. I think, well, he's forgotten all about her. I'm afraid.
Clara,
so, I think the thing about the Doctor really is he's actually quite mysterious, hence the name Doctor Who. And I'm not sure whether how successfully Clara was able to wipe his mind. And in fact, I just did. I was about to tell you something that I can't tell you now.
I just noticed that. Good save, good save.
Yeah, good save. But
I tried.
There's something to look forward to.
Yes, I just shot something that Clara was still there.
Well, so, but I mean, she's been forgotten, but do her effects still linger?
Her effects have been left lying around the TARDIS. Her slippers, her
Chalkboards.
her makeup is all over the place. You will have to wait and see. Sorry.
So, since everyone had to wait so patiently, I'm going to ask a question that I certainly know the answer to, which is, are there questions from the audience?
Oh my God.
So do we have, we're going over here first. It is difficult to see. I see you in the blue shirt, yes? Hello, take it away. Hi.
Is the mic on? The mic is not on.
What?
When you're in a creative funk, whether it's for acting, writing, music, whatever, what do you do to get out of, to find your motivation, I guess?
When we were in a creative what?
Funk? Like,
Creative what?
Creative funk, writer's
Like,
block,
right,
artistic block.
actor's block, whatever.
I take a rest. I have a nap. I go for a walk. I think you have to learn that you've got to stop sometimes. I mean, I think just applying pressure all the time, just working and working and working can be a case of diminishing returns. I think you've got to recognize when it's time to stop and walk away and free your mind. Do something else, listen to music, go for a walk, look at some pictures, just watch TV, eat things that are full of calories. And I think then it sort of loosens your mind up and you can start having ideas again. Because it gets very, very depressing when you're confronting that wall. Sometimes, and it depends upon the project or what you're doing, sometimes you've got to just keep hammering against that wall and sometimes you break through, but your own instinct will tell you whether that's happy or not.
I agree. Just to doing something actually completely opposite to take your mind out so you can come back fresh. Otherwise, you just stop being able to see or come up with new ideas in any fashion. So I also go for a walk, or just try and get out of like the zone that you're in and to come back into it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Right over here, please.
Okay, so all of the other doctors have had, right here.
Oh, hi.
All of the other doctors have had a catchphrase, but 12 doesn't really have one yet, unless you count shut up. Is there plans to give 12 a catchphrase, or?
It is no catchphrases.
I vote for shut up.
I think shut up is a good catchphrase.
I think shut up is somebody else's catchphrase.
See, do we have one ready over and the standing over here?
This is for Clara, but how did you feel whenever Missy had put you in the Dalek?
Claustrophobic, but also quite glad of a seat. It was quite strange. It was quite tricky to film in there, but it was. We like built one that was like 3/4, and I had to get in, and it was like all specially made. But then the hardest thing was they then had to glue wires onto my head, which didn't stick. So Liam from props had to come in every single take and just literally just put glue all over my forehead. But other than that, it was very fun, and I got wheeled everywhere.
So over here, please.
This one's for Jenna, sorry.
Hello.
But, how was it emotionally getting to the place that you had to get into for your character's death, knowing you'd be back?
Well, did we know? When we filmed Face of the Raven, had we read 12?
I don't think we have.
Because we knew, I remember when I first read Face of the Raven, and I knew there was a goodbye, like a big goodbye in that, and I remember having a conversation with Stephen to say, I know I'm back in 11 and 12, but how? And because I don't want to, really play this goodbye if I'm going to pop up again and be like, hi, and then have to do a big goodbye again. But he said it's going to be very, very different. So it was something I was conscious of where to pitch, but how the season ends and how the art comes out, we never really know. Stephen's always got something up his sleeve, and you don't know until the script lands on the table what it's going to be. So he just said, really play it for truth and for real. This is the real goodbye as such.
And over here, please.
And there was a live raven, so it was hard to not be scared.
This is for both of you, and this is, what were the top 2 most awkward moments for both of you?
Awkward moments. Top 2 awkward moments.
We don't really have. Oh, is this one?
Maybe this is it.
Is this it? Is this number 1 or number 2?
This is probably the longest silence we've ever had, I think. I'm trying to think, was there anybody, have we embarrassed ourselves or anyone came on this show that was awkward? When we were getting to know each other, it wasn't really awkward.
Well, I took you to lunch. It was a little bit awkward.
Not really.
Maybe not for you. So going to lunch was, from my point of view, a little bit awkward. And this is becoming increasingly awkward.
You did sit down and you did go, there'll be no romance.
She's saying that's the first thing I said to her, no romance. And I was right.
How about to this side, please?
Okay, this is for Peter at first, but Jenna can also chime in.
Thank you.
Earlier, in wake of Stephen Moffat leaving and writing for Doctor Who, earlier Peter said in an interview that BBC is potentially taking Doctor Who for granted. What do you think can be done to address this issue from both the fans and the writer's perspective?
I was just voicing my concern about the transmission time of the show in the UK. I have the greatest of respect for the BBC. The BBC is an extraordinary organisation. It's paid for by the taxpayers in the UK. It's, you know, it belongs to us, to all of the people in the UK who pay their taxes. It's their organisation. I think Doctor Who is such a successful show that sometimes it can be forgotten that it needs to be looked after. But they do look after it, but they have a whole pile of other things to look after. And I just wanted to point out that I thought at that time they maybe needed to refocus a little on it. But they're amazing, and they support the show completely, wholeheartedly. But it's a big organisation with a constantly changing personnel, and those of us who are lucky enough to be in these sort of high-profile shows, it's also kind of part of our job to look after the show and represent it within that organisation. So that's all I was doing, but it was not without the greatest respect for the greatest broadcaster in the world.
Jen, anything to add?
Ditto that.
Over here, please.
Hi, this is for both of you. If you could take one prop from the show that does not include the TARDIS, what would it be?
I took a clockwork squirrel, a piece of TARDIS that's missing, also my TARDIS key on a necklace. So as long as they haven't changed the locks. What are you going to take?
I'm not. Where am I going? I don't really have a desire to have any props from the show or anything. It's
Guitar?
oh yeah, no, the guitar. I have the guitar. What am I saying? Yes, of course I take the. In fact, they very kindly gave me. There was a second guitar which I used in the last episode of the last season because my original guitar was off in the TARDIS and I lost the TARDIS, and they gave me that as a gift at the end of the season. So that was fabulous. So yes, of course I would take the other guitar and any other guitars that show up.
Over here, please.
Hello. Both of you, your first appearance on the show was before you became regulars on the show, and one was a different character and the other was sort of a different character. How did that first time being on the show impact what you did later? Because they kind of were different and they had different ideas, different motivations.
For me, it was kind of an improvement because the first 2 days as Oswin I spent on set, there was no one else there. It was me talking to a green circle, which in the edit became matte and everything you could see through the eyepiece. So all of Asylum with the Dalek, I was never once on set with another person. So going into playing Clara against Matt and against other live humans was really good.
Have you finished?
I've finished.
Well, I just thought that was going to be my only ever time in Doctor Who. It was going to be in the Fires of Pompeii, so I was just enjoying every moment of it. But of course, I knew it was a character with an episodic. He only had to exist in that episode, so I didn't have to kind of colour him with a longer arc or anything like that. And I was just very fanboyish about the whole experience. But I have to try and be more professional when I'm playing the Doctor now. It was great fun, and obviously playing the Doctor isn't. That's a joke. It's British irony.
Over here, please.
This is kind of of an unrelated question, but when are the Green Boys getting back together?
For anyone who doesn't know, that was a group, a rock group that I was in with Craig Ferguson of the Late Late Show, and it was the single worst name for a band ever because it sounds like we're like the Chippendales or something like that. But we were sort of trying to be Kafka-esque and nightmarish, and no, I don't think we're going to get together.
And over here.
Hi. If you could team up with anyone from Classic Who or New Who that you haven't worked with yet, who would you pick?
Tom Baker. I did meet him, but I wasn't in a scene with him, so that doesn't count. So it would be Tom Baker.
Oh, is that?
That's my answer.
That's your answer. Oh, okay.
Oh, why? Is that your answer?
No, I thought you were doing an impression of me doing an impression. I thought you were preempting my answer.
No. That was Jenna giving her answer.
Oh, okay. Alive or dead?
Yes.
I think it would be pretty amazing to see William Hartnell. Can you imagine that?
I've technically been in a scene with him.
Technically, yeah. Well, digitally.
Digitally and with a double, we recreated the scene, and then digitally did it all. It was very clever and very fun. Sorry, carry on.
Yes, but it wasn't the real William Hartnell.
But on screen, we've been in a scene together.
Why are you doing this in front of us?
Come on, it's such a good trump card. I can't help it.
Put me down all the time. Well, the real William Hartnell, I'd like to. I've actually got. We don't have any cameras here, do we? Well, oh no, we don't have a video camera.
They've been running around a bit.
Oh, okay. Are you operating? Is there a big picture? Is there a big screen? No, it's not you. Ask another question.
Okay, over here, please.
First of all, I want to say that Peter, thanks for touching my guitar and the photo ops. That was really awesome.
Thanks for coming to see us.
You're welcome. My question is actually for you, Peter. Peter, have you ever gotten surprised by someone on set of the TARDIS? Example, pranked or a surprise party on your birthday?
Say that again. Have you ever gotten pranked on the TARDIS or had been surprised?
No, we don't really do very many pranks. Because as you can see, we're very serious, committed, grave actors. There was one rather, slightly in bad taste, I think, prank that was played by Jenna, which was when we were talking about, there was a time before she left when Jenna was talking about leaving, and I used to suggest to make her more uncomfortable, I would mention actresses who might replace her.
It's Peter's favourite joke, to tease me mercifully, or go, bring back Billie Piper.
That's right. She's great. Fantastic. All of them are absolutely amazing. But I did actually. There was an actress who hadn't played a companion who I suggested should be the new companion, And one day we were filming a scene and they were filming my... so I'm not being rude to you. This looks like I'm really bored. Am I being rude? Yeah, whatever. I was doing this scene and it was rather emotional and I was doing all my lines and I turned around to deliver my lines to Jenna and she was wearing a mask of the said actress.
You didn't really react.
Well, it wasn't that funny, really.
Alright, I see shadows over here. Is there one over here?
I see shadows.
Hello.
Hi. What is your most two favorite lines being the doctor?
My two most favorite lines?
Yeah.
Don't be lasagna. There's one. I like...
Do you remember that one? Do you remember that one?
Actually, it's my time.
There's that one where you kept laughing at yourself. Was it the one that was like, that's how we roll? It was like one episode and you got so overexcited to do it that you then couldn't do it without laughing.
Yeah, I can't remember. It's like I was going to go and destroy all this.
And then we go do this, we go do this, we go do this. That's how we roll.
That's how I like saying I am the doctor. Where? No, I'm looking for your camera. Is that it? Is it? You're not attached? Okay, it's quite far away. I'll just show you a picture. Are you going to zoom in? I don't think this is going to work.
You can see.
Oh, him in the first hour.
See that? That's me and David Bradley as William Hartnell. And that was before I was cast as Doctor Who. That's Mark Gatiss said to me, do you want to come to the studio and see something interesting? And I went and they were filming an adventure in time and space. And David Bradley was playing William Hartnell and it was extraordinary. Because when I grew up, William Hartnell was my first Doctor, and I would love to have met him or seen him or something. So that was the nearest I got to it.
See, over here, please.
How did it feel when you transferred from Matt Smith to Peter Capaldi?
I've actually always been Peter Capaldi. It was, in a way, it was the best thing about it was I was able to fit into his trousers, which I'm sure a lot of people would be. I'll stop. It was amazing. It was great. Matt is so fantastic. I loved him as Doctor Who, and he was such a nice guy to me. He was such a gentleman. And I was really nervous. Because, these guys have been filming for a year and they're reaching the end and Matt's saying goodbye to everyone and they have to do the scene, Matt's final scene with Jenna and then I have to walk in and Jen has to carry on with me and it was an extraordinary experience and a wonderful, strange day, but I can't thank Matt enough for his graciousness and his kindness and giving me a big hug and saying, giving me the key to the TARDIS and saying, this is yours now. Jenna was quite spiky and distant, but also the whole production crew, they were great. They really made it easy for me. But yeah, it feels strange because, and you also still wear Matt's costume, which And being as the BBC, we can only afford one costume. That's why the trouser issue was relevant.
Well, if I can piggyback onto that, Jenna, was it harder to see Matt go or harder to leave yourself?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know if you can compare them really, because they're both really different experiences, and it's interesting because it's the feeling of you're always saying goodbye to something. You're saying goodbye to a dynamic in a working relationship and a special thing really that you kind of know you're not going to get in any other place or time. So it's hard to compare, but equally both sad.
And over here, please.
Oh, you're my mommy.
I won't be sleeping tonight, thank you very much. Let's stick over here.
Hello.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Doctor.
Doctor Who?
Exactly.
Oh, we have one right here, please.
Hello, and thank you so much. I actually have an episode question. So I know that you had an episode where you had a deaf actor, and first of all, I wanted to thank you all very much for that, because so often we find that deaf performers are replaced with hearing performers in Hollywood and movies and things like that. So this is fantastic. Thank you so much to have real representation. And what I want to know, and what I want to know then, thank you again, is I want to know about your experience of working with a deaf performer on your show, and if you would be willing to use deaf characters in future episodes, and let me know how that was. Thank you so much.
It's more about, Sophie was extraordinary, but because she is an extraordinary actress, and what I found really interesting working with her is how much she uses her eyes and how much she connects with you with her eyes and her focus, and that's kind of what pierces and makes her brilliant. But it's because she is a brilliant actress first and foremost, I think. So it was wonderful to work with her.
And I would agree with that. I mean, Sophie was fabulous, and it's almost like, you know, her deafness had no relevance, you know, to what she was doing. We didn't do anything special or different, or it was just, we had another wonderful performer, we have wonderful guest stars, and she was one of the wonderful guest stars. You know, her talent is her talent, which is very, very big. So we're just very glad to have people like that around, whatever other special things they may have about them.
It's over here, please.
Thank you both so much for coming. This question is for Peter. Personally, I like you very much as the Doctor, but I like you even more as Malcolm Tucker on the thick of it. My question for you, Peter, is when you were portraying that character, were there ever moments when you were just amazed at the filth that was coming out of your mouth? Or had moments when you, accidentally or inadvertently, internalize some of Malcolm's cussy nature?
Well, now that I'm in a family show, I'm not sure we're in the right venue for me to go into detail about the controlling of Malcolm's cussiness. But he could say anything he liked. The worst thing really was I used to practice it at home. I'd get the lines and I still do. I work in the kitchen. I always end up doing the same with Doctor Who. I learn my lines in the kitchen. So I'd pace up and down the kitchen learning his lines, getting louder and louder and louder and more rude. And I'm sure the neighbours must have got really upset. But the worst thing was if my family, I'd build myself into a state of absolutely horrendous cruelty and evilness and nastiness. And someone would call downstairs and say, have you seen the remote control? I'd be like, So we had to put Malcolm in a box, and we don't really, not a blue box. Or did we?
Over here. Over here.
This question is about the episode Heaven Sent. Peter, I heard you in an interview, and you said you and Rachel Talalay, the director, had some creative differences. So I wonder if you can talk a little bit about your conversations and how you did that episode.
I'm kind of surprised you say that, because Rachel, we don't have differences, Rachel, and well, perhaps we may. I think Rachel's a fabulous director, absolutely fabulous. She is, she's the real thing through and through. She's hugely professional, hugely skilled, great craft skills, and a fabulous eye, and an artist. And I love working with her. So I'm not sure, if we had, perhaps what has been reported is the discussions that we have, where we can be very frank with each other about things, but they're not. There's never any hostility. We're very simpatico.
That wasn't what I intended. It was more of a creative interpretation was different. It was a quote from you, but I'm
really?
just quoting you. Sorry.
No, that's. I'm sorry. I forget what I say most of the time. Like even at the start of a sentence, by the time I reach the end, I've forgotten what. You know.
It was a brilliant episode.
Well, it was due to Stephen's fabulous script and Rachel's fabulous direction, because it also was going quite to the wire. It was quite late coming in. I don't mind scripts being late, because I know that they're getting better and better all the time. That's what's happening to them. But Rachel had to create that very, very complicated world, not knowing really where it was going to conclude or where it was going. And she did it absolutely brilliantly, I think. And I hope she's going to come back and work with us again.
Now I have to say, they told me backstage, do not go over 30 minutes, and I totally ignored them. So now I am getting a frantic signal to wrap it up. Peter Capaldi and Jenna Coleman, thank you so much for joining us.